If you've ever felt tired, overwhelmed, or just done with your aquarium, you are not alone. Most of the time, the problem isn't the tank. It's the things we keep doing without realizing how much pressure they add. And the scary part is that these tiny habits don't ruin your aquarium all at once. They chip away at your time, your energy, and your enjoyment. So today, I want to go over a few things that can quietly push you towards burnout, and more importantly, what you can do instead to make this hobby feel light, simple, and actually enjoyable. This might sound strange coming from someone who spends so much time talking about aquarium care, but doing too much is one of the fastest ways to burn out in this hobby. Too much cleaning, too much adjusting, too much fixing. It makes you feel like the tank is always on the edge of a disaster. And the truth is, most aquariums simply don't need that level of attention. Take filters, for example. You don't need to clean them just because a calendar says it's time. The only real indicator you should trust is flow. If the flow hasn't dropped, the filter doesn't need to be touched. Cleaning too often actually disrupts the stability you are trying to build. The same goes for algae. Scraping the glass every time you see a hint of green is exhausting and honestly unnecessary. A little algae is normal. It happens in every healthy aquarium. It only becomes a problem when you obsess over it and never let the tank breathe. Water changes are another thing people tend to overdo. I've seen aquarists do 2 or 3 a week just to be safe, but all that does is constantly reset the tank. Pick a schedule that makes sense for you, stick to it, and let the aquarium handle the rest. And here's the part that really matters. Doing less doesn't mean ignoring your aquarium or lowering your standards. It means trusting the balance you're trying to build. When you stop micromanaging every little thing, your plants settle in, your fish relax, and the entire tank becomes easier to maintain. Having systems in place can drastically improve your experience in this hobby. Let's use timers as an example, because they can be one of the most useful pieces of equipment you have. The less you have to turn on or off manually, the better your aquarium will run. Put your lights on a timer. Put your CO2 on a timer. Even your air pump, if you use one. When everything runs automatically, your tank becomes stable without you having to think about it. And stability is what keeps your aquarium from overwhelming you. Another thing that I personally consider a system is having a good schedule. Having a clear routine for fertilizing, water changes, and feeding removes so much guesswork. Write your schedule down somewhere you can see it. Maybe macros on Mondays, micros on Thursday, water changes every Sunday, whatever works for you. When you stick to a written schedule, you never dose too much or too little, and you never let maintenance pile up to the point where it feels stressful. There are also automatic tools you can use if you want even more help. Automatic feeders, automatic fertilizer dosers, and even automatic top-off systems. These can turn some of the biggest chores in the hobby into things that just happen on their own. But I'll be honest, I don't personally use automatic feeders or auto dosers. Not because they are bad, just because my tanks are simple enough without them. Still, for some people, they can make the difference between feeling in control and feeling burned out. The more things you automate, the less you physically have to do every single day, and the less you have to rely on your own memory, which, let's be honest, it can fail. You don't want to get home to realize your lights are off while your CO2 system has been running the whole time. Systems take pressure off you. They keep your tank consistent. Once you automate the basic stuff and commit to a routine, you're not reacting to problems, you are preventing them. And that alone can save you from quitting the hobby out of frustration. If you're enjoying the video, remember to like and subscribe. Also, if you have any video topic suggestions, leave them in the comments. Don't take the first advice you hear and run with it. There's a lot of information out there, and just as many different opinions. Some of it is great, some of it is okay, and some of it can quietly push your aquarium in the wrong direction. That's why it's so important to hear different perspectives before you make a decision. In my last video, I mentioned a few mistakes I made just by following the wrong recommendations. At the time, they sounded like good ideas. Only later, I realized they weren't right for my aquariums. And that's something I really want you to remember. Even good advice can be bad if it doesn't fit your situation. So whenever you hear something new, especially if it involves spending a lot of money or making a big change, pause for a second. Look it up in a couple of different places. See if other people had the same experience, or if there are people saying the exact opposite. One of the best habits you can build in this hobby is doing your own research before committing to anything. Ask questions, compare sources, and don't be afraid to wait a little before trying something drastic. Your aquarium is not an emergency project. You don't have to fix everything in a single day. Take your time, gather information, and then make a choice that actually makes sense for your setup. In the long run, getting a second opinion will save you way more plants, fish, and money than any quick fix advice ever will. By the way, guys, I've got some new plants in the shop, and a few of the originals are finally back in stock. And just for a limited time, I'm doing a buy two get one free deal on Rotala Narrow Leaf SP Red and Riche Fluitans. If you want to grab some, there'll be a link in the description. Multiple tank syndrome is a real thing, and trust me, it sneaks up on you before you even notice what's happening. You start with one aquarium, then you get excited about a new plant, or a new scape idea, or a new fish species, and suddenly you are setting up a second tank, then a third, then a shrimp tank, then a temporarily grow out tank that somehow becomes permanent, and before long you are maintaining 4 or 5 aquariums without realizing how much work you've created for yourself. Each tank needs water changes, each tank needs fertilizing, each tank needs trimming, cleaning, scraping the glass, checking equipment, all at different times. And even if each aquarium is easy, the workload stacks up faster than you expect. What happens is that instead of enjoying the hobby, you start dreading maintenance. You feel behind all the time. Your aquariums don't get the attention they need. Algae start showing up, plants get messy, parameters start drifting, and suddenly the hobby feels overwhelming instead of relaxing. The solution isn't necessarily to avoid having multiple tanks. It's to be honest with yourself about how many tanks you can actually keep healthy. If one good aquarium brings you more peace than 5 stressful ones, then just keep one. And if you really want multiple setups, at least make sure each one has simple systems in place, timers, routines, easy escaping styles, so they are actually manageable. The point is to keep the hobby enjoyable, not to let the excitement of just one more tank slowly drain your time, energy, and motivation. Protect your enjoyment first. That's the point of all this, right? This is a tough one, and honestly, even after all these years, I still haven't fully gotten used to it. Losing fish hurts every single time. And the truth is, in this hobby, it will happen sooner or later. You can do everything right, provide the best environment, stable parameters, great food, clean water, and still lose a fish. Nano species, especially, are delicate, way more fragile than bigger fish. Sometimes it's an illness you couldn't see coming. Sometimes it's old age. And sometimes, unfortunately, it's us. We make small mistakes and they pay for it. That part is painful because we care so much about these little creatures. But here's how I try to look at it. In the wild, these fish face dangers every second of the day. Larger fish hunting them, birds diving into the water, unstable conditions, sudden changes they can't escape. Compared to that, the environments we create are safe, stable, and peaceful. I genuinely believe aquarium fish live happier, longer lives because we take care of them. So yes, it hurts when we lose one, but it doesn't hurt as much as it did when I first started. Experience softens the blow, not because we care less, but because we finally understand that it's part of the journey. And I can promise you this, the more experience you gain, the more success you'll have, and the fewer losses you'll see. Just remember something important. Most nanofish simply don't live very long. A lot of them only live 1 to 3 years. So don't blame yourself when their natural time comes. Enjoy them while they are with you, and take comfort in knowing you gave them a beautiful life. And that's it for today, guys. If you have any suggestions on how I can make these videos better, let me know in the comments. I'm always trying to improve, and your feedback really helps me grow.